Ironman, by the way. I am self-sufficient. I did everything on my own. Well, I could just buy it off the Grand Exchange and I'm just like having fun because I just need to make money. Yeah, two different modes in RuneScape, but which one should you be playing? Well, let's talk about it. Yo, what's going on guys? My name is Chevalric and today we're going to be talking about which game mode is best for you as a new, returning, or whatever type of player you are. Is it Ironman mode or is it Mainscape mode or a regular account? And we'll be going over what each game mode means, what the benefits are and what the downsides are, and what my personal recommendation is for the types of player that I just mentioned. If you have any questions, if you want to see any tips or tricks videos, let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a like in the video if you do enjoy it. Subscribe if you're new. Also join my Twitch channel. It's linked in the description down below. I'm live every single day at 6 p.m. game time. You can always ask me any questions. Just hop in and let's just get into the video. So first things first, what are these two game modes anyway? You might have clicked on this video and you've never played RuneScape before, or you haven't played in such a long time that you don't even know what Ironman mode is because it's just been recently introduced. Well, recently as in like 7 years ago, but in the grand scheme of things in RuneScape, that's like a third of its life cycle ago, which is not that long ago if you really think about it. But pretty much Mainscape is just your regular old account. You can trade, you can use the Grand Exchange, which is RuneScape's auction house, where you can type in and get, you type in like dagger, dagger for example, you get a price, you pay the price with your coin / GP, whatever you want to call it, and you can just buy it from there. You can also sell your stuff on there for whatever price you seem fit. Obviously there's a recommended price which you will need to use, of course, because otherwise it's probably not going to sell. But Ironman mode, on the other hand, is you being self-sufficient. And what I mean by fully self-sufficient is fully self-sufficient because you gotta gather everything yourself. There's no buying supplies of the Grand Exchange to train your skills. It is literally, if you want uncut gems to train your crafting, you need to go mine your uncut gems. But yeah, if you want to smith your armor, you need to mine the rocks to make your armor, and that goes with everything in the game. If you want it, you gotta get it yourself. There's a little bit of an exception though, because RuneScape 3 does allow you to take on bosses with other Ironmen and mains. The only kind of thing that you need to turn on is something called loot share, which pretty much comes down to every other kill you will just get to drop, and the other kill the other person gets to drop. There's a way more complicated system behind it. So for the experienced players that are typing their comments saying that's not how it works, I know that's not how it works, but that's the best way to explain it and the easiest way to explain it. And on main accounts, when you go to a boss with a friend, you would just be like, hey, we just do splits. You make 10 million GP and you split it, and every person gets 5 million GP, rightfully earned so. But what are the benefits and what are the downsides of playing an Ironman mode and a main account? Well, I think the biggest benefit for a lot of people, especially people that have played this game before or are returning players or even players from old school RuneScape, is that there are no microtransactions on an Ironman. The only microtransactions there are on an Ironman are the rune coins, which pretty much only allows you to buy cosmetics and little pets and pretty much things like that, like things of that nature, just cosmetic things. And you can get other cosmetics with this other currency called Oddments. You earn Oddments by certain events like the Yak Track, which is RuneScape's battle pass. But then again, you don't get any experience from it. You don't get any bonus experience from it. You just get Oddments of anything related to it. And that is a big reason for a lot of people to play it, because they don't like the MTX, and that is completely fine. Another reason for a lot of people, and I hope that this is your main reason of playing it, is that it feels like more of an achievement. Because yeah, sure, you could just go to the best boss in the game or the best moneymaker in the game and just grind it out and get the best gear in the game. But on an Ironman, you actually need to obtain the best gear in the game. If you want to get the best bow in the game, you need to take on the hardest boss in the game. So you better get some good gear before that from other bosses, because otherwise you're not going to win that boss fight. And that achievement feels really, really good. Like, I played an Ironman before, and to me it felt really, really great when even getting like basic items that I needed to progress my account or do a quest or do whatever. Because yeah, you need to gain everything yourself. You can't just go to the Grand Exchange and just buy everything you need for a quest or an activity and just go on your merry way. And I feel like as well, Ironman gives you the full RuneScape experience as well. A lot of skills on a main account like crafting or fletching are just useless because, well, the things that you get from it, you could just buy off the Grand Exchange. So for a lot of main players, it just feels like those skills are just money sinks. You just dump your money into a skill like crafting or fletching or whatever to trade it up to level 99, get your Mainscape, and never think about it again. But on a Ironman account, you need crafting to make the best jewelry in the game, and jewelry really helps with stats, and even later on you get a jewelry where you can store in a special attack which really increase your DPS when you do PVM. So I feel like you get the full experience of all the skills, and even other skills where you train it and you have some use to it on a main account, like divination is something that comes to mind. There are these things called borders that you need to make, which pretty much when you're doing some skilling, it sends items straight to the bank. You need that on a main, but on an Ironman there are also other useful items that come from divination, a skill in RuneScape, where yeah, it gives you the full experience of the skill and not just like a little tidbit part of it. But another benefit that I would say is just not for Ironman, but more so for mains, is that you can trade and that you can actually go to the Grand Exchange and sell your stuff, and that you just are able to just do whatever you want in the game as long as you have the GP for it. Certain people are not good at certain bosses, right? Like you might suck at a boss where you need an upgrade from. Well, on regular accounts, you can just get better gear by just doing another activity or a boss you feel more comfortable with, and then just use the money that you make from certain boss or certain activity to buy the better gear to take on the boss that you were struggling with. On an Ironman, it's kind of like, oh well, this is the gear you can get now, so yeah, figure it out, because otherwise you're not going to be taking on certain bosses. So there's more of a progression there, which as I said, a lot of people will enjoy. But as a main and more casual, it is nice when you can just buy the gear that you need and learn with the better gear and then go backwards. Like a little bit of my personal advice is, if you haven't played the game before, you have a main account and you're considering an Ironman account, maybe consider playing your main for a little while, get comfortable with combat again, get comfortable with some slightly better gear, and then start your Ironman, and then, you know, try bosses with lower tier gear, because the skill will transfer over, and sure, you need to do more, but at least you're comfortable then, and you're jumping back in with a little bit more of experience. And speaking of experience, the progression is just easier as well, from just being able to do the best trading methods if you have the money, or just have the supplies or the unlocks easier because you can buy them, or you can just get your way to them a little bit more quickly because, well, supplies are more plentiful. As I said, like a lot of things come down to you just being able to buy things and make things quicker. You still need to get it, you still need to get your levels, but it's just easier to get the supplies in the long run. So the progression is easier when it comes to skills and also from your account. I feel like if you start a main account, you know what you're doing, you can get to the end game like probably twice as quick than on an Ironman when you know what you're doing, because you're also really stuck to RNG and luck when you are playing an Ironman. But another upside that I would say, even if you don't like it as an Ironman, and it's one of the reasons why you don't want it, is MTX. I mean, for me, MTX is not necessarily a negative thing. I use a lot of MTX if I use it, because I don't really use it that much, because I just stack keys for certain events, but that's besides the point. Whenever I use it, I just use it on the skills that I just really do not enjoy and don't have to bother with certain skills I don't enjoy, and didn't get burned out because of it, because I don't like dungeoneering, so I just use my lamps of all the activities that I've ever done in RuneScape on dungeoneering to get it 120 for my completion escape, and I'm a happy man now. But speaking of some downsides though to Ironman is, yes, it is more of a grind. Yeah, you need to grind more, and it takes longer to get certain activities done because, well, the experience rates are lower, you don't have the best installed gear, you can't buy it, you need to get it, so it is more of a grind. But obviously with that comes more satisfaction when you actually do the grind. Another thing that you would need, and this goes especially for newer players that might be watching it and considering it, is that you will need a lot of game knowledge to be able to play Ironman in a somewhat reasonable manner. Because sure, you cannot lock yourself out, and there's no wrong way to play RuneScape. There's no way of like, oh yeah, if I don't do this, then I will be stuck later on in the future. No, you will probably have to do the activity anyway in the future. But it will require you to use a little bit more of the RuneScape wiki. As an Ironman itself, you need to use the wiki a lot more than a main, because, well, where do you get X item for a quest? Well, you need to probably wiki it, because especially the niche items, you probably don't know by heart. And if you do, well, kudos to you, you're an absolute gamer, but I don't, so you need to use the wiki. And that goes for newer players especially, you will need to wiki a lot. There is a good Ironman guide on the wiki, which you can follow, like step to step, which is the most efficient way apparently. which I'll link in the description down below if you are interested. But yeah, those are some, like, I would say downsides of playing an Ironman. It's just, it is more grindy, you need more knowledge, but with that comes more sense of achievement. The downside to the main is literally the opposite. It's less sense of achievement because you can get everything so quickly and there is quicker progress. And for some people that is really nice, especially if you have a lack of time because you have a full-time job, you have a family, you go to uni or whatever. But for other people, it could also be a downside because they want the more grindy, like, achievement related things. But then again, you could also argue on the main, you can focus on some more achievements that are probably a lot more unattainable on an Ironman, like clue locks or things like, I don't know, other collection locks that are really difficult to get, or even a comp or trim completion escape. These are all feasible on an Ironman, but are even more of a grind. And on a main, those are maybe a little bit more of an achievement than they are when you go just for max level everything. Because quite frankly, I'm not going to say it's easy. It still takes long. It still takes knowledge and you still need to make money for it. But it's a lot easier to do on the main than on Ironman. I'm not going to sit here and claim that it's not the case. And other achievements might be more satisfactory, like Completion Escape or Trim Completion Escape or Golden Reaper or any clue title or whatever you're going for. So Golden Slayer Master, whatever. But yeah, the goalpost pretty much is just different on the main account compared to an Ironman account. But what do I recommend? Well, to be honest, as a new player, I would probably recommend you just play a regular main account unless you really want the challenge of the Ironman account where you are gathering everything yourself. You need to learn everything about the game. But if you're just looking for a nice casual experience, I would just recommend playing in a main account and just playing it however you enjoy it. And especially if you're not bothered by the microtransactions or you just like don't really care for it, or you might just be like me and be like, oh well, I just use it on the skills you don't like. There are 28 skills in RuneScape. There's bound to be one where you're just like, I don't really like it, or this one is way too slow for whatever trading methods you're doing, dungeoneering. And yeah, that's when I would recommend you playing main. But if you are looking for that challenge and you want to actually be trying to just push yourself and your knowledge, whether you're a returning player, a experienced player, or even a new player, as I said, Ironman is definitely your game mode. The achievements will feel amazing. You will get the full experience of all the skills, all the bosses. Well, not all the bosses, because obviously you can still skip certain bosses, especially you have to skill level. But you will experience way more of the game than on the main, because as I said, with like, for example, crafting, it's a completely useless skill, but on an Ironman, it's one of the things you want to prioritize straight away, because it will unlock so much for you. But that choice lays all by you. And let me know in the comment section down below if this was a useful video for you and that it helped with your choice. If you did enjoy it, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and my name is Chevalric, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.